Hello, I'm Terence Kuskow, and I conceived and directed this project called Take Care as a way to sustain a meaningful experience for our students who look forward so much to doing a play each winter. Take Care is a film, and it's a long film, one that's shot in an innovative way. So we've inserted a 15-minute intermission to leave you time to get drinks or snacks or whatever. And after this premiere, it will be available to watch. You can watch the parts you want, or all of it on our Dwight YouTube channel. But I want you to know why it was not cut into a shorter piece. First of all, we have 23 cast members, grade 9 through 12, and I wanted each of them to be featured at least once. But secondly, and no less important, is the fact that these selections are full of deeply held thoughts and feelings. So Take Care is a kind of meditation on these themes, and therefore the primary job for you, the audience, is to listen. So I ask you to please do that, to watch, of course, and cheer on your friends and family members, but also please listen as carefully as you can, when you can, to what these writers are saying through their characters and through our own students. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoy it, and you take care.
There are some things we all know, but we don't take them out and look at them very often. We all know something's eternal, but it ain't houses and it ain't names and, well, it ain't Earth. This here's the new part of the cemetery. Yes, an awful lot of sorrow has quieted down up here. You all know as well as I do that the dead don't remain interested in us living people very long. They're waiting. Waiting for something they feel is coming, something great. Aren't they waiting for the eternal part in them to come out clear?
Who is it, Julia?
My daughter-in-law, Emily Webb.
Why, Declare, the road up here must have been awful muddy. What did she die of, Julia?
In childbirth.
Childbirth. I had forgotten all about that. My, wasn't life awful and wonderful?
Wonderful, was it?
Now, Simon, remember.
Wasn't it a lovely wedding? And I remember her reading the class poem at graduation exercises. Emily was one of the brightest girls to ever graduate high school. Principal Wilkins said so time after time. I called on them at their new farm just before I died. Perfectly beautiful farm.
It's on the same road we used to live on.
Yep, right smart farm.
I always liked that hymn. I was hoping they'd sing a hymn.
Hello.
Hello, Emily.
Hello, Ms. Gibbs.
Hello, Mother Gibbs.
Emily.
Hello. It's raining.
Yes, they'll be gone soon, dear. Just rest yourself.
It seems thousands and thousands of years since Papa remembered that was my favorite hymn. Oh, I wish I'd been here a long time. I don't like being new here. How do you do, Mr. Stimson?
How do you do, Emily?
Mother Gibbs, George and I have made that farm into just the best place you ever saw. We thought of you all the time. We wanted to show you the new barn and a great long cement drinking fountain for the stock. We bought that out of the money you left us.
I did?
Don't you remember, Mother Gibbs? The legacy you left us, why, it was over $350.
Yes, Emily.
Well, there's a patent device on the drinking fountain, so that it never overflows, Mother Gibbs, and it never sinks below a certain mark they have there. It's fine. It won't be the same to George without me, but it's a lovely farm. My people don't understand, do they?
No, dear, not very much.
They're sort of shut up in little boxes, aren't they? I feel as though I knew them last 1,000 years ago. My boy's spending the day at Mrs. Carter's. Oh, Mr. Carter, my little boy's spending the day at your house.
Is he?
Yes, he loves it there. Mother Gibbs, we have a Ford too. Never gives any trouble. I don't drive though. Mother Gibbs, when does this feeling of being one of them, how long does it...
Shh, dear. Just wait and rest yourself.
I know. Look, they're finished. They're going.
Shh.
Look. Father Gibbs is bringing some of my flowers to you. He looks just like George, doesn't he? Mother Gibbs, I never realized before how troubled and how in the dark live persons are. Look at him. I loved him so. From morning till night, that's all they are. Troubled.
Yep, that rain's cooled it off a little.
Those northeast winds always do the same thing, don't they?
If it isn't a rain, it's a 3-day blow.
But, Mother Gibbs, one can go back there. One can go back there again. I feel it. I know it. Why, just then for a moment, I was thinking about the barn. And for a minute, I was there. And my baby was on my lap as plain as day.
Yes, of course you can.
I can go back there and live all those days over again? Why not?
All I can say is, Emily, don't.
But it's true, isn't it? I can go and live back there again.
Yes. Some have tried, but they soon come back here.
Don't do it, Emily.
Emily, don't. It's not what you think it'd be.
But I won't live by sad day. I'll choose a happy one. I'll choose the first day I knew I loved George. Why should that be painful?
You not only live it, but you watch yourself living in it.
Yes.
And as you watch it, you see the thing that they down there never know. You see the future. You know what's going to happen afterwards.
But is that painful? Why?
It's not the only reason why you shouldn't do it, Emily. When you've been here longer, you'll see that our lives here are to forget all that and to think of only what's ahead and to be ready for what's ahead. When you've been here longer, you'll understand.
But, Mother Gibbs, how can I ever forget that life? It's all I know. It's all I had.
Oh, Emily, it isn't wise. Really, it isn't.
But it's a thing I must know for myself. I'll choose a happy day anyway.
No, at least choose an unimportant day. Choose the least important day in your life. It'll be important enough.
Then it can't be since I was married, or since the baby was born. I can choose a birthday at least, can't I? I choose my 12th birthday.
All right. February 11th, 1899. A Tuesday. Do you want any special time of day?
Oh, I want the whole day.
Is it Madge Lobowitz?
Is what?
Is the name Mabel Lepescu?
What name?
The name the initials ML stand for, the initials on your bag.
No.
Margie Longworthy?
No.
Midge Laurie? My initials are JT.
John?
No. Martha Lancaster.
No. Joseph.
Well, not exactly. Yeah, that's my first name, but everybody calls me Joe. The last name's the tough one. I'll help you a little. I'm Irish.
I'm Irish too. At least on my father's side. English on my mother's side.
I'm Irish on both sides. Mary's one of my favorite names. I guess that's why I didn't think of it. I met a girl in Mexico City named Mary once. She was an American from Philadelphia. She got married there. In Mexico City, I mean. While I was there. And we were in love, too. Or at least I was. You never know about anybody else. They were engaged, you see, and her mother was with her, so they went through with it. Must have been 6 or 7 years ago. She probably has 3 or 4 kids by this time.
Are you still in love with her?
Well, no. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure. I guess I am. I didn't even know they were engaged until a couple of days before they got married. I thought I was gonna marry her. I kept thinking all the time about the kinds of kids we would be likely to have. The third one was my favorite. The first 2 were fine, handsome and fine and intelligent, but that third one was different. He was dumb and goofy looking. I liked him a lot. When she told me she was going to be married, I didn't feel so bad about the first 2. It was that third one.
What do you do?
Do? To tell you the truth, nothing.
Do you always drink a great deal?
Oh, no. No, only when I'm awake. I sleep 7 or 8 hours every night, you know.
How nice. I mean to drink when you're awake.
It's a privilege.
Do you really like to drink?
As much as I like to breathe.
Why?
Eleanor, I love you.
Young man, who in the world are you talking to?
Eleanor.
Who's Eleanor?
Nobody. She's a dame in the Saturday Evening Post. She's the sweetheart of the nickel magazines. What's your name?
Harmony Blue Blossom.
Harmony Blue Blossom. Honest.
Cross my heart.
Nobody ever comes up here on Red Rock Hill. Are you lost?
I'm looking for a man named Jonah. Do you know him?
Do I know him? He's my father.
Your father?
That's right.
Jonah Webster.
That's right, Jonah Webster.
Is he here?
He isn't here now, but he'll be here soon. Won't you please come in and sit down?
Thank you.
Blue Blossom.
Yes.
Wonderful. My father sure is a killer. If you're this pretty now, boy, what you must have been in the good old days before I was born.
And when was that?
Oh, I haven't been around long. 15 years? I'm a failure.
Failure? I don't believe it.
It's true. No education, no social context, no political affiliations. I just loaf. What is all that stuff?
Knitting.
Is that good?
Perfectly harmless. Surely you must do something other than loaf.
Oh, I read too, and sleep, and think. I do a lot of thinking for a punk my age.
Punk?
Yeah, loafer. Good for nothing. I haven't worked a day in my life. I'm supposed to work, aren't you?
No, I believe I'm in favor of work.
Well, that's alright, but I'm opposed to it.
If nobody worked, I would have heard that civilization would collapse.
Nah, that's a lot of jitney propaganda.
I read it in the Reader's Digest.
Who wrote it?
I don't remember.
Well, whoever he is, he's a dreamer.
What do you mean?
All that collapse stuff is a lot of hooey. Anything that collapses, for any reason, deserves to. If nobody worked, nothing would collapse. Everybody would look around, find out what it is they wanted to do, and then do it. And then it wouldn't be working, it would be living, which is what we're supposed to be doing around here, I guess.
Yes, I believe we're supposed to be living.
Alright, take a day like this, a beautiful summer's day. Any man who works, well, I feel sorry for him. He isn't doing the things he wants to be doing. He's thinking about the things he doesn't want to think about, worrying, losing his mind all the time. A life has a right, hasn't it?
Young man, are you a communist?
Hell no. They're no different from the Republicans, and the Republicans are no different from the Democrats. That's all politics. I don't believe in little rights and little freedoms. Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, who have they got to talk to or assemble with? I believe in freedom of freedom. Communists, I'm a poet.
What in the world are you looking for?
A mousetrap.
What?
A mousetrap.
Now, what do you want with a mousetrap?
Interesting, isn't it? How would you like to be a mouse and get caught in one of these?
I beg your pardon.
Well, I mean, it would be quite a surprise, wouldn't it? One would feel very foolish. My sister, she's so afraid we'll be cruel to something else alive. That's why I've got to hide them. You've got no right, she says. Owen Webster, you've got no right.
And where has your father gone?
Out on some street corner somewhere. He likes to go out and talk to the people.
And what does he talk about?
Don't you know my father?
Not lately. You look a good deal like Jonah when I saw him last. I don't understand his talking on street corners.
Well, sometimes he hollers too. One of them will come out and look at the trap.
I don't know why a mouse would want to look at a trap.
They've been trained not to feel fearful. I suppose that they'll always be suspicious.
Who in the world trained them?
My sister, St. Agnes of the Mice, we call her. I believe the mice worship her.
Worship her?
You don't often hear of mice bringing people flowers, do you?
Young man.
Yeah, and last Christmas when my sister had the flu, the mice got together in this room, over by the stairs there, and prayed for her. And St. Agnes got well without so much as taking an aspirin.
I've never heard anything so interesting.
Yeah, my sister says we must love them. But don't you think they should see a trap occasionally?
Yes, I do. I'm not absolutely sure, however. Perhaps it would be best not to hurt their feelings, since they bring her flowers. What sort of flowers?
Little flowers. On her birthday, they had been arranged to spell out Agnes. It was the sweetest sight the human eye ever saw. They asked very little, take care of their own sick, and pray for the best. It's simply a question of who lives here, the mice or us.
Well, I'm afraid I must be going. Thank you very much, young man, for receiving me.
Please don't go. If you wait a moment longer, we'll see one of them.
Young man, I am an old woman, and it's been pleasant listening to you. You are convincing, you know. But I came to call on your father, Jonah Webster. I've not seen him in, 30 years, I believe. But in you, I see him again. He was not quite as young as you are now, but you are, and I have no doubt, his son, and he is your father. He had a mind as wild as yours.
Yeah, that's him. He'll be here soon, just like I've been telling you. Sit on the street corner somewhere, talking to the people. Wait a little longer. He'll be glad to see you. I don't know you, and I'm glad to see you.
You're very charming. Please tell Jonah I called.
Oh, I'll tell him all right. I'll tell him you didn't get married. He'll be awfully flattered. But I wish you'd wait.
And thank you for your delightful fairy tale about the mice.
Fairy tale? You don't think I was making that stuff up, do you?
Goodbye, young man.
Goodbye. $14 collect. Little short of money?
Yes, a little. But my mother will send me enough to get home on.
Sure. Where have you been?
Nowhere, I guess. How long will it take the telegram to reach my mother?
Well, it's pretty late in the east now. It's not easy to raise money late at night sometimes, but I'll rush the telegram right through. Here. In case. You can pay me back when your mother sends the money.
What's this?
It's nothing. I picked it up in a bar 7 days ago. Brings me luck.
Thanks. Thanks.
Send it paid, Willie. I'll pay for it myself.
Miss Margaret Strickman, 1874 Biddle Street, York, Pennsylvania. Dear Ma, please telegraph $30. Stop. Want to come home. Stop. Am fine. Stop. Everything okay. Stop. John.
How do you like being a messenger?
How do I like it? I like it better than anything. You sure get to meet a lot of different people, and you sure get to go to a lot of different places.
Sure. How'd you sleep last night?
I was pretty tired, but I slept fine.
Did you sleep a little in school today?
A little.
Which subject?
Ancient history.
What about sports? I mean, what about not being able to take part on them on account of having this job?
Well, I take part in them. We have physical education period every day.
I used to run the 220 low hurdles when I went to Ithaca High. Valley champion. You really like this job, don't you?
I'm going to be the best messenger that this office has ever had.
Okay, just don't kill yourself. Get there swiftly, but don't go too fast. Be polite to everybody, take your hat off in elevators, and above all things, don't lose the telegram.
Yes, ma'am.
Working nights is different from working days. Taking a telegram to Chinatown or out to the sticks is liable to scare a fella. Well, don't let it scare you. People are people. Don't be scared of them. How old are you?
16.
Yeah, I know. You said that yesterday. We're not supposed to hire a boy unless he's at least 16, but I thought I'd take a chance on you. How old are you?
14.
Well, you'll be 16 in 2 years.
Yes, ma'am.
If anything comes up that you don't understand, come to me.
Yes, ma'am. What about singing telegrams?
Nothing to them. We don't get very many. You have a pretty good voice, haven't you?
I used to sing at the First Presbyterian Sunday School of Ithaca.
That's fine. That's exactly the kind of voice we need for our singing telegrams. Now, let's say Mr. Grogan over there was sent a birthday greeting. How would you do it?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grogan. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
That's fine, but you wouldn't say Dear Grogan. You would say Dear Mr. Grogan. What are you going to do with the $15 a week?
Give it to my mother.
All right. From now on, you're working steady. You're a part of this outfit. Watch things, listen carefully, keep your eyes and ears open. What future have you mapped out for yourself?
Future? Well, I don't know for sure, but I'd like to be somebody someday. Maybe a composer or somebody like that. Someday.
That's fine. This is the place to start. Music all around you. Real music. Straight from the world. Straight from the hearts of the people. You hear those telegraph keys? Beautiful music.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know where Chatterton's Bakery is on Broadway? Go get me 2 day-old pies. Apple and coconut cream. 2 for $0.25.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think of him?
He's a good boy.
I think he is. Comes from a good, poor family on Santa Clara Avenue. No father. Brother in the army. Mother works in the packing houses in the summer. Sister goes to state college. He's a couple years underage, that's all.
I'm a couple years over age. We'll get along.
If you want me, I'll be at Corbett's. Share the pies between you. What's your name again?
Homer Macaulay.
All right, Homer Macaulay. You're the boy this office needs on the night shift. You're probably the fastest moving thing in San Joaquin Valley. And you're going to be a great man someday, too. If you live. So see that you live.
Homer Macaulay. I'm William Grogan. I'm called Willie, however, even though I am 67 years old. I'm an old-time telegrapher, one of the last in the world, and I'm also the Nightwire chief of this office. I am also a man who has seen many wondrous worlds gone by. I'm also hungry. So, once the work is done, let us feast on the pies, the apple, and the coconut cream. From now on, you and I are friends.
Yes, sir.
I shall, on occasion, need you to run an errand for me, or to join me in song, or sit and talk to me. In the event I am embraced in alcohol, however, I shall expect you a depth of understanding one may not expect from men. Past 12. How old are you?
14, but I guess I got a good understanding.
Very well. I'll take your word for it. Every night I shall expect you to see that I can perform my duties. A splash of cold water to the face when I do not respond when shaken. This is to be followed by a cup of hot black coffee from Corbet's.
Yes, sir.
On the street, however, the procedure is quite another thing. If you behold me wrapped in the embrace of alcohol, greet me as you pass, but make no reference to my happiness. I am a sensitive man. Prefer not to be the object of public solicitude.
So, cold water and coffee in the office, greeting in the streets. Yes, sir.
Do you think this world will be a better place after the war?
Yes, sir.
I believe I overheard you say that once upon a time you sang at Sunday school. Please be good enough to sing me one of those songs while I type up this message from Washington, D.C.
Rock of ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water.
The telegram is addressed to Miss Rosa Sandoval, 1129 G Street, Ithaca, California. In the telegram, the War Department informs Miss Sandoval that her son, Juan Domingo Sandoval, has been killed in action.
Where's your pa? Why isn't he here? I declare we'll never get started.
Ma, where's my hat? I guess I don't have to go if I can't find my hat.
Go out into the hall and see if it isn't there. Where's Caroline gone to now, the plague child?
She's out waiting in the street talking to the Jones girls. I already looked in the hall 1,000 times, Ma, and it isn't there.
Go and look again, I say. Look carefully.
No, Ma, it's not there.
Well, you don't leave for New York without that hat. Make up your mind to do that. I don't go on journeys with a hoodlum.
Oh, Ma.
Oh, Mrs. Schwartz.
Here I am, Mrs. Kirby. Are you going yet?
I suppose we're going in a few minutes. How's the baby?
She's all right now. We slapped her on the back and she spatted right up.
Oh, isn't that fine? Well, Mrs. Schwartz, if you'll be good enough to give the cat a saucer of milk in the morning and the evening, I'd be ever so grateful to you. Oh, Mrs. Hobmayer.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Kirby. I hear you're going away.
Just for a few days, Mrs. Hobmayer, to see my married daughter Beulah in Camden. Elmer's got his vacation week from the laundry early this year, and he's just the best driver in the world.
Is the whole family going?
Yes, all 4 of us that's here. My married daughter was downright sick a while ago.
My, oh my. I remember you telling us.
And I haven't seen her since. It just won't rest right in my mind if I don't see her. Can't you say good afternoon to Mrs. Hobmayer?
Good afternoon, Mrs. Hobmeyer.
Good afternoon, dear. Well, I'll wait and beat the rugs till after you're gone because I don't want to choke you. Y'all have a good trip and find everything all right.
Thank you. I hope I will. Well, Mrs. Schwartz, the milk for the cat should be all, if you're sure you don't mind. If anything should come up, the key to the back door is out hanging by the icebox.
Ma, not so loud.
Everybody can hear you.
Stop pulling my dress, children. The key to the back door I'll leave hanging by the icebox and the screen door unhooked.
All right, now y'all have a good trip. Oh, and send my love to Bewley.
I will, and thank you 1,000 times. What can be keeping your paw?
Here's Arthur's hat. He must have left it in the car Sunday.
That's a mercy. Now we can start. Caroline Kirby, what have you done to your cheeks?
Nothing.
If you put anything on him, I'll slap you.
No, Ma, I haven't. I just rubbed him to make him all red. All the girls do that in high school when they're going places.
Such silliness, I never saw. Elmer, what kept you?
I just went to the garage and had Charlie give a last look at it, Kate.
I'm glad you did. I wouldn't like to have no breakdown mileage from anywhere. Now, we can start.
Here, you boys, you keep away from that car.
Those Sullivan boys put their heads into everything.
Goodbye, Mildred. Goodbye, Helen.
Goodbye, Caroline. Oh, goodbye, Mrs. Kirby. I hope y'all have a good time.
Goodbye, girls.
Goodbye, Kate. That car looks fine.
Oh, goodbye, Emma. We think it's the best little Chevrolet in the world. Goodbye.
Oh, Mrs. Kirby, you're leaving.
Oh, just to see my married daughter for a few days in Camden.
Oh, well, have a good trip.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Pa, don't go by the school. Mr. Breidenbach might see us.
I don't care if he does see us. I suppose I can take my children out of school for a day or two without having to hide down back streets about it. Who was it you spoke to, Elmer?
That was the fellow who arranges our banquets down to the lodge, Kate.
Is he the one that had to buy 400 steaks? I declare I'm glad I'm not him.
The air's getting better already. Take deep breaths, children.
Gee, it's almost open fields already. Weber and Heelbonner, suits for well-dressed men. Ma, can I get one of those someday?
If you graduate with good marks, perhaps your father will let you have one for graduation.
Oh, Pa, do we have to wait while that whole funeral goes by?
Take off your hat, Arthur. Look at your father. Why, Elmer, I do believe this is a lodge brother of yours. See the banner? This must be the Elizabeth branch. Well, we haven't forgotten the funeral that we went on, have we? We haven't forgotten our good Harold. He gave his life for our country. We mustn't forget that. Well, I suppose we'll all hold up the traffic for a few minutes someday.
Ma.
Oh, well, I'm ready, children. I hope everybody in this car is ready, and I pray for you to go first, Elmer.
Ma, everybody's looking at you.
Everybody's laughing at you.
Hold your tongues, children. I don't care what a bunch of silly people in Elizabeth, New Jersey have to say about me. All right, that's the last.
Fit right suspenders, the working man's choice. Pa, why do they spell right that way?
So that'll make you stop and ask about it, Missy.
Oh, Papa, you're teasing me. Ma, why do they say 300 rooms, 300 baths?
Milner's spaghetti, the family's favorite dish. Ma, why don't we ever have spaghetti?
Go along, you'd never eat it.
Ma, we like it now.
Yum, yum. It looked good up there. Ma, make some when we get home.
The management is always happy to receive suggestions. We aim to please.
Well, I guess no one's complaining, Kate. We all know you're a great cook.
I don't know whether I'm a good cook or not. I just know I've had practice. At least I've cooked 3 meals a day for 25 years.
Oh, Ma, you went out to eat once in a while.
Yes, that'd make it a leap year.
Ma, I love going out to the country like this. Let's do it more often, Ma.
Goodness, smell that air, will you? It's got the whole ocean in it. Elmer, drive careful over that bridge. This must be New Brunswick we're coming
Ma,
to.
when is the next comfort station?
You don't want one, you just said it to be awful.
Yes, he did, Ma. He's terrible. He says that kind of thing right out in the middle of school, and I just want to sing through the floor, Ma. He's terrible.
Oh, don't get so excited about nothing, Miss Proper. I suppose we're all human beings in this car, at least as far as I know, and Arthur, you try to be a gentleman. Elmer! Don't run over that little collie dog. Looked kind of peaked to me. Needed a good honest bowl of leavings. Pretty dog, too. That's a pretty advertisement for Chesterfield cigarettes. Looks like Beulah a little.
Ma,
Yes?
can I take the paper out with the Newark Daily Post?
No, you cannot. No, sir. I hear they make the Purple Boys get up at 4:30 in the morning. No son of mine is getting up at 4:30 every morning, not if it's to make $1 million. Your Saturday evening post route on Thursdays is enough.
Oh, Ma.
No, sir. No son of mine is going to get up at 4:30 every morning and miss the sleep God meant him to have.
Ma's always talking about God. I guess she got a letter from him this morning.
Elmer, stop that automobile this minute. I don't want to go another step with anybody who says things like that. Arthur, you get out of this car. Elmer, you give him a dollar bill. He can go back to Newark by himself. I don't want him.
What did I say? I didn't do anything terrible.
I didn't hear what he said, Kate.
God has done a lot of things for me, and I won't have him made fun of by anybody. Arthur, get out of this car.
Oh, Ma, don't ruin the ride.
No.
We might as well go on, Kate, since we've got started. I'll talk to the boy tonight.
All right, just as you think best, Elmer.
Oh, Ma, that wasn't so terrible now, was it?
I don't want to talk about it. I hope your father washes your mouth out with soap and water. Where would it be if you all talked about God like that? I'd like to know. We'd be in speakeasies and nightclubs and places like that. That's where we'd be.
Hey, Dustin. Dustin, are you awake? Look, Dustin, it's raining. Not very hard, though. I guess whoever's making the rain doesn't want you to wake up. Dustin, are you awake yet?
Yep.
Want to go out and play?
It's 2 a.m. I want to go to sleep.
No, it's not. It's 3.
Who the hell cares? Just shut up and go to sleep.
I care. Look, Dustin, I'm blind. Dustin, I can't see.
Would you take off those stupid
I'm blind,
glasses
Dustin.
No, you're not. Now, sleep.
No, Dustin, come play with me. You could lead me around.
No, go back to sleep.
Then I guess I'm just gonna run into things, huh?
Hey, cut it out.
That's what happens when nobody leads blind people around.
You're not blind. Now, go lie down.
But Dustin...
Teddy, I mean it. Can't even sleep now.
Why not?
'Cause I'm mad, that's why.
I didn't do anything wrong. I only wanted you to lead me around.
Well, I'm not going to.
Then I'll lead you around. Now that you're up, we can play.
No, now that I'm up, I can paint.
Dustin, you're my brother. You're supposed to play with me.
I am not your brother.
Well, we're almost brothers.
You can't almost be brothers with someone.
Yes, you can. We've lived together for a long time, and that makes us almost brothers.
It hasn't been more than a year.
That's a long time.
That's relative.
Barbara says that I can think of you as my brother if I wanted.
Well, don't.
Why not?
Just don't.
She says that I can think of you as my brother as long as I know that if you get adopted, you can belong to someone else too.
Well, I'm not going to get adopted.
Okay, I won't either. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Will you shut up?
Yeah, I think I will. I didn't have anything to sing anyway. I'm running out of songs. Help me pick one, Dustin.
How would I know what song you want to sing?
I don't know, we could make one up.
Teddy.
We could sing a song about painting if you want. A true artist could paint with me talking, but that's okay. We'll make the room very quiet so you can concentrate.
Teddy.
Shh, you're trying to concentrate. Okay, you win. What are you painting anyway?
Come over here and take a look.
No.
If you took off those stupid dark glasses, you could see it from over there.
I want you to tell me about it.
Paintings are meant to be looked at, not described.
Who says?
Everybody says. That's just the way it is.
Aw, come on, Dustin. Any artist could show their painting. It takes a real good one to describe it.
Where'd you hear that one?
I don't know, I made it up. It's just that I've never heard anyone describe a painting before.
Well, I'm not going to describe it.
Then I'm going back to sleep.
Good.
Why's that good?
'Cause it's 3 in the morning.
No, it's not. I bet it's almost 4.
Why do I like to drink? Because I don't like to be gypped. Because I don't like to be dead most of the time and a little bit alive once in a long while. If I don't drink, I become fascinated by unimportant things like everybody else. I get busy. I do things. All kinds of little stupid things for all kinds of little stupid reasons. Proud, selfish, ordinary things. I've done them. Now I don't do anything. I live all the time. Then I go to sleep.
Do you sleep well?
Of course.
What are your plans?
Plans? I haven't got any. I just get up.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Why do I drink? That question calls for a pretty complicated answer.
Oh, I didn't mean...
No, I insist. I know why. It's just a matter of finding words. Little ones.
It really doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Why do I drink? No, why does anybody drink? Every day has 24 hours.
Yes, that's true.
24 hours. And out of those 24 hours, at least 23 and a half are, my God, I don't know why, dull, dead, boring, empty, murderous. They're minutes on the clock, not time of living. It doesn't make any difference who you are or what you do. 23 and a half hours of the 24 are spent waiting.
Waiting?
And the more you wait, the less there is to wait for.
Oh?
That goes on for days and days and weeks and months and years and years. And the first thing you know, all the years are dead. All the minutes are dead. You yourself are dead. There's nothing to wait for anymore. Nothing except minutes on the clock, no time of life. Nothing but minutes and idiocy. Beautiful, bright, intelligent idiocy. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I'm afraid it does. Thank you. You shouldn't have gone to all the trouble.
No trouble at all. You have children?
Yes, 2. A son and a daughter.
How swell. Do they look like you?
Yes.
And why are you sad?
I was always sad. It's just that after I was married, I was allowed to drink.
Who are you waiting for?
No one.
I'm not waiting for anybody either.
My husband, of course.
Oh, sure.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I like him. I'm very fond of him.
You have responsibilities?
1 in thousands. As a matter of fact, I feel responsible to everybody. Or at least everybody I meet. I've been trying for 3 years to find out if it's possible to live what I think is a civilized life. I mean a life that can't hurt any other life.
You're famous?
Very. Utterly unknown, but very famous. Would you like to dance?
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't dance. I didn't think you'd like to.
To be honest, I don't like to dance at all.
I can hardly walk.
You mean you're tight?
No, I mean all the time.
Were you ever in Paris?
In 1929 and again in 1934.
What month of 1934?
Most of April, all of May, and a little bit of June.
I was there in November and December of that year.
We were there almost at the same time. Were you married?
Engaged. Are you really in love with me?
Yes.
Is it just the champagne?
Yes, partly at least.
If you never see me again, will you be very unhappy?
Very.
I'm so pleased. I must go now. Please don't get up. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've got no right. Owen!
Is that you, Saint?
Wake up, Owen. Wake up.
What's the matter? Oh, hello, Saint. I thought it was you. Hey, Saint, look! Agnes. Agnes. Saint Agnes, the little sister of the mice. What's the matter?
You ought to be ashamed.
Why?
How could you put a trap out when they're so full of sorrow?
They didn't know they were full of sorrow. What are they full of sorrow about?
One's lost.
That's why one of them didn't come out. Sure, but after she left, one of them came out.
After who left?
We had a visitor, an old lady. I wanted to entertain her, so I put the trap out. What's the matter?
I met a man. Well, a boy.
Well, what's the matter? Are you sorry you hit him?
I didn't hit him. We just walked and talked. That's all.
Well, what's the matter?
I like him. He's not nearly what I thought I'd find, but I like him.
That's all right. It's nice to like somebody. Anybody. What are you bawling about?
I like him.
Is that the way it makes you feel?
It makes you feel sick. Like a whole world sick. And there's nothing to do about it but to like him more and more with every breath you take. All we did was walk and talk. We didn't even talk sense. I came home feeling pity for everything. Not love. Pity.
Saint, don't feel bad. Look at your name and flowers. I told the old lady about them, but she didn't believe me. Are you sure he's lost?
He's been gone a week.
Where'd he go?
He went to St. Anne's.
St. Anne's? Well, it's a nice state of affairs when one of our mice gets caught in a church trap, and we can't even set a trap in our own house.
What the church is pleased to do about mice is no affair of ours. Owen?
How am I going to find a mouse in a church?
Just go there and look around. He may not be caught. He may be lost, trapped in some small room.
Are you sure that's what this is all about?
Yes, I am. They're all crying.
Well, let them cry. What they'd expect? Fun? Things end. They change. They spoil. They're hurt or destroyed. Accidents happen. Without these things, there could be no felicity. You ought to know that. Eventually, even a tree ends. One at a time, each one of them ends, but there are always trees. And that's the reason, because eventually each one of them ends. If you're going to teach them things, teach them everything. I suppose it's an improvement for them to be crying over one mouse that's dead or lost. But eventually everybody's got to know that death is with us from the first breath we take. Are they crying hard?
Yes, they are.
I guess he's dead.
Maybe he isn't. Maybe he's only hungry and weak, caught in a room he can't get out of. Please hurry, Owen.
All right, if he's alive and in the church, I'll find him. I'll bring him home.
Murphy's the name, just an old trapper. Mind if I sit down?
Be delighted. What will you drink?
Beer, same as I've been drinking, and thanks.
Glass of beer, Nick.
Don't suppose you ever fell in love with a midget weighing 39 pounds?
No, I can't say that I have. But have another beer?
Thanks. Down in Gallup 20 years ago, a fella by the name of Rufus Jenkins came to town with 6 white horses and 2 black ones. Said he wanted a man to break the horses for him because left leg was when he couldn't do it. Had a meeting down at Parker's Mercantile Store and finally came to blows. Me and Henry, pal, bashed his head with a brass cuspidor and ran away to Mexico, but he didn't die. Couldn't speak a word. Took up with some cattle breeder named Diego, educated in California. Spoke the language better than you and I. Said, your job, Murph, is to feed them prizeables. I said, fine. What will I feed them with? Hay, lettuce, salt, beer, and aspirin. Came to blows 2 days later over an accordion he claimed I stole. I had borrowed it. During the fight, busted it over his head, ruined one of the finest accordions I ever saw. Grabbed a horse and rode back across the border, Texas. Took up with a fellow who seemed honest. Turns out he was a ranger looking for me.
Yeah, you were saying a midget weighing 39 pounds?
Will I ever forget that, lady? Will I ever forget that Amazon of small proportions?
Will you?
If I live to be 60.
60? You look more than 60 now.
That's trouble showing in my face. Trouble and complications. I was 58 3 months ago.
That accounts for it then. Go ahead, tell me more.
Told the Texas Ranger my name is Rothstein, a mining engineer from Pennsylvania, looking for something worthwhile. Mentioned 2 places in Houston. Nearly lost an eye early one morning going down the stairs. Ran into a 6-footer with an iron claw where his right hand was supposed to be. Said, "You broke up my home." Told him I was a stranger in Houston. The girls gathered at the top of the stairs to watch the fight. 7 of them. 6 feet and an iron claw, now that's bad on the nerves. I kicked him in the mouth when he swung for my head with a claw. Would have lost an eye except for quick thinking. He rolled into the gutter, pulled the gun, and fired 7 times. I was back upstairs and left the place an hour later, dressed in silken feathers with a hat swung around over my face. Saw him standing there in the corner, waiting. Said, "Care for a wiggle?" He said he didn't. Walked on down the street and left the place. I don't suppose you ever had to put on a dress to save your skin, did you?
No. And I never fell in love with a midget weighing 39 pounds. Have another beer?
Thanks. Left Houston with 60 cents in my pocket. Gift of a girl named Lucinda. Walked 14 miles in 14 hours. Big house, barbed wire all around, and big dogs. One thing I never could get around. Dogs jumped up and came for me. I walked into them anyway. Growing older every second. Went up to the door. Knocked. Big woman opened the door. Closed it quick, said, "On your way, white trash." Again, "On your way." Again, "On your way," again. This time, the old man himself opened the door. 90 if he was today, and sawed-off shotgun too. Said, "Ain't looking for no trouble, father, just hungry and thirsty. The name's Kavanaugh." Took me in and made mint juleps for the 2 of us. Said, "You live all alone, father?" Said, "Drink and ask no questions. Maybe I am, maybe I ain't. You saw the lady. Draw your own conclusions." Well, I heard of that, but didn't wink out of tact. Would you believe me if I said that old Southern gentleman was my grandfather?
I might.
Well, turns out he wasn't. Would have been romantic if he had been, though.
Where did you herd cattle on a bicycle?
Toledo, Ohio, 1918.
Toledo, Ohio? They don't herd cattle in Toledo.
They don't anymore. They did in 1918. One fellow did leastaways. Bookkeeper by the name of Sam Gold. Straight from New York, east side. Sombrero, lariats, Bull Durham, 2 head of cattle and 2 bicycles. Owned a place called the Gold Bar Ranch. 2 acres, right outside the city limits. That was the year of the war, you'll remember.
Yeah, I remember. But how about herding them 2 cows on a bicycle? How'd you do it?
Easiest thing in the world. Rode no hands, had to, otherwise couldn't lasso the cows. Cows ran away. Bicycles scared him. Advertised in every paper but never got him back. Broke his poor heart. Went back to New York. Took 4 aces from a deck of red cards and walked to town. Fellow in the game by the name of Chuck Collins liked to gamble. I said with a smile, I don't suppose he'd care to bet. $100, I went ahead 4 aces in my next hand. Called it. My cards were red on the blank side, the others were blue. Plum forgot all about it. Showed him the 4 aces, ace of diamonds, ace of spades, ace of hearts, ace of clubs. I remember those cards if I lived to be 60. Would have died on the spot except for the hurricane that year.
Hurricane?
You haven't forgotten the Toledo hurricane of 1918, have you?
No, there was no hurricane in Toledo in 1918 or in any other year.
For the love of God, then what do you suppose all the commotion was about? How come I came to in Chicago, dream walking down State Street?
I guess they scared you.
No, that wasn't it. If you look in the papers of November 1918, I think you'll find there was a hurricane in Toledo. I remember sitting on a 2-story house, floating northwest.
Northwest?
Now, son, don't tell me you don't believe me either.
Of course I believe you. Living is an art, it's not bookkeeping. It takes a lot of rehearsing for a man to get to be himself.
You're the first man I've ever met who believes me.
Have another beer.
Hi, guys.
Barbie, what a surprise! Look, Justin, Barbara stopped by to see us.
I can see her, Teddy.
How do you think I look?
Fine.
I lost a few pounds last week.
Ha, it looks like you found them again this week.
And what's that supposed to mean?
It means that I didn't lose any weight last week and I'm still skinnier than you.
Oh, come on, I'm not fat.
Well, you have something to bug us about, so we have to bug you about something too.
The only reason you say I'm overweight is because besides a few pounds, you can't find anything wrong with me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and you can't even see straight with those dark glasses on, so I shouldn't even be listening to you.
I don't have to see straight. I can tell you're fat anyway.
How?
You sound fat.
Why don't you take them off, Daddy?
Because I like them on.
Oh, come on, this game was fun for a little while, but it's time to take off the glasses.
I can't. I'm blind.
You're not blind, honey.
Cut it out.
Honey, you know I'm not.
2 weeks ago, you were pretending you were deaf.
So what?
So you can't keep pretending there's something wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just blind, that's all.
Cut it out, Teddy.
Why?
Because Barbara's not here to play games with you.
Yeah, she's here to bug me about being blind.
We do have some things we need to talk about, Ted.
I just want to play right now.
Didn't you hear her? She said she needs to talk to you.
I want you to come.
No, we can't just go and play and leave Barbara alone.
Are you coming or not?
No, now get back here and sit down. Teddy!
That's all right. Let him go. I actually wanted to talk to you about something too.
Anything in particular or whatever comes to mind?
How's Teddy?
He's been acting real weird lately.
Weird how?
I mean, he's been acting like a little kid. I can't even carry on the conversation with him.
Could you ever?
He also asked me to go outside and play with him. I mean, it just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he wanted to go out and play in the rain.
Did you play with him?
No, I'm too old for his stupid games.
Is that all?
Well, the wheelchair doesn't help any. And I really wanted to finish my painting. I mean, look at this. Making something like this is a lot more fun than trying to climb trees in the rain.
What about using your crutches?
You think I could climb a tree with those on?
No, but I do think you could walk with them on.
I guess so.
Speaking of walking, your teacher called today. She says you've been going to therapy late.
I've been busy.
Just try to make it on time next week, all right?
Fine.
Things would just be a lot easier if you could walk.
You mean I would get adopted into a real home faster?
No, that's not what I said.
Well, look at Teddy. He can walk and he's still here with me.
Has Teddy talked to you about leaving?
No. Why?
We're making an arrangement for a couple to adopt him.
It'll probably fall through.
I don't think so. I mean, they're coming by next week to see him.
Does he know that?
I told him.
And he's still acting like he's blind.
Yeah, that's the problem. He has to be ready by next week. He can't be running around here pretending he's blind wearing a dark pair of glasses.
You know, he asked me to describe my painting to him today.
Did you?
No. I mean, how do you describe a painting?
You did too describe it. It's all kind of blue. I think it's pretty.
You can't see it.
I already know what it looks like.
You can't really know what it looks like if you can't see it.
And you can't really know what it feels like if you do see it.
Ted, honey, the whole idea of a painting is out there to look at. You can't really get the feeling of a painting just by hearing about it.
See? Told you.
Nobody asked you.
Ted, honey, the couple that you met last week is going to come by next week to see you.
Me and Dustin don't need any visitors. We're just fine by ourselves.
They want to see you. They want to show you your new home.
I can't see them. I'm blind, remember?
How did I know he was going to say that?
Ted, you're not blind, honey.
Honey, you know I'm not.
Teddy, stop.
Why? I didn't do anything wrong.
No one said you were, sweetie.
Then quit bugging me.
Ted, pretending you're blind is not going to prevent you from being adopted.
I didn't say it was. Now leave me alone.
I told you it was hopeless.
All right. Well, Dustin, why don't you show Ted how to do some cooperating and get some walking done?
I left my crutches at school.
Well, they're not going to do any good there. Get them home now.
I wouldn't have time. I have to finish this painting.
Walk first, paint later.
Play first, walk later, and don't worry about painting.
Whatever, just figure it out.
And then he'll be well-rounded, just like you.
All right, that's enough. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, I'll be looking forward to it.
Good. And then maybe I can give you some of the cookies I have in my bag.
Hello, Dudley.
Elsie.
I'm sorry. So many people are sick. Last night, a little boy died. I love you, but...
Elsie, you'll never know how glad I am to see you. Just to see you. I was afraid I'd never see you again. It was driving me crazy. I didn't want to live, honest. I know you told me before, but I can't help it, Elsie. I love you.
I know you love me, and I love you, but don't you see how love is impossible in this world?
Maybe it isn't, Elsie.
Love is for the birds. They have wings to fly away when it's time for flying. The tigers in the jungle because they don't know their end. We know our end. Every night I watch over poor dying men. I hear them breathing, crying, talking in their sleep, crying for air, water, love, for a mother and field and sunlight. We can never know love or greatness. We should know both.
Elsie, I love you.
You want to live. I want to live too. But where can we escape our poor world?
Elsie, we'll find a place.
All right. We'll go to a room in a cheap hotel and dream that the world is full of love and greatness. But in the morning, can we forget about debts and duties and the cost of ridiculous things?
Sure we can, Elsie.
All right, Dudley. Of course. Come on, the time for the new pathetic war has come. Let's go before they dress you, stand you in line, hand you a gun, and have you kill or be killed.
Oh, you have a telegram. Who is it for?
Ms. Rosa Sandoval, 1129 G Street. Are you Miss Sandoval?
Please, please come in. I cannot read English. I am Mexican. I read only La Prensa, which comes from Mexico City. Please, what does the telegram say?
Miss Sandoval, the telegram says that...
You have not opened the telegram. You must open it and read it to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Who sent the telegram? My son Juan Domingo?
No, ma'am. The telegram is from the War Department.
War Department?
Miss Sandoval, your son is dead. But maybe it's a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. Miss Sandoval, maybe it wasn't your son, maybe it's somebody else. The telegram says it's Juan Domingo, but maybe the telegram's wrong.
Don't be afraid. Please, come in, come in. I will bring you candy. All boys like candy. Here, take the candy. All boys like candy. You would not send me a bad telegram. You are a good boy like my son Juan Domingo when he was a little boy. It is our own candy made from cactus. I will make it for my Juanito when he comes home, but for now you eat the candy. You are my boy too. My little boy. My little boy.
Who is it?
Kitty, it's me. It's Tom. Let me in. Don't cry anymore, Kitty.
I don't like this life.
Kitty, Joe got up from his chair at Nick's just to get you a toy. This one makes music. We rode all over town in a cab to get it for you. Listen.
Tom,
Yeah?
when you were a little boy, what did you want to be?
What, Kitty?
Do you remember when you were a little boy?
Yeah, I remember sometimes.
What did you want to be?
Sometimes I wanted to be a locomotive engineer. Sometimes I wanted to be a policeman.
I wanted to be a great actress. Tom, didn't you ever want to be a doctor?
Yeah, Kitty. Sure. I wanted to be a doctor. Once.
I'm so glad. Because I wanted to be an actress and have a young doctor see me at the theater and fall in love with me and buy me flowers.
I would do that, Kitty.
I wouldn't know who it was. And then one day I'd see him on the street and fall in love with him. I wouldn't know he was the one who was in love with me. I think about him all the time. I dream about him. I dream of being near him the rest of my life. I dream of having children that look like him. I wouldn't be an actress all the time. Only until I found him and fell in love with him. And after that, we'd take a train to beautiful cities and see the wonderful people everywhere. And give money to the poor. And whenever people were sick, he'd go to them and make them well again.
The management takes pleasure in bringing to you the news events of the world. Freeport, Long Island. The sun rose this morning at 6:32 a.m. This gratifying event was first reported by Mrs. Dorothy Stetson of Freeport, Long Island, who promptly telephoned the mayor. The Society for Affirming the End of the World at once went into a special session and postponed the arrival of that event for 24 hours. All honor to Mrs. Stetson for her public spirit. New York City. During the daily cleaning of this theater, a number of lost objects were collected as usual by Madame Simpson, Pataslewski, and Moriarty. Among these objects found today was a wedding ring inscribed "To Eve, from Adam." Genesis 2:18. The ring will be restored to the owner or owners if their credentials are satisfactory. Tippecanoe, Vermont. The unprecedented cold weather of this summer has produced a condition that has not yet been satisfactorily explained. There is a report that a wall of ice is moving southward across these counties. The disruption of communications by the cold wave now crossing the country has rendered exact information difficult. But little credence is given to the rumor that the ice has pushed the Cathedral of Montreal as far as St. Albans, Vermont. For further information, see your daily papers. Excelsior, New Jersey. The home of Mr. George Antrobus, the inventor of the wheel. The discovery of the wheel, following so closely on the discovery of the lever, has centered the attention of the country on Mr. Antrobus of this attractive suburban residence district. This is his home, a commodious 7-room house. Conveniently situated near a public school, a Methodist church, and a firehouse, it is right handy to an A and P. Mr. Antrobus himself. He comes of very old stock, and has made his way up from next to nothing. It is reported that he was once a gardener, but left that situation under circumstances that have been variously reported. Mr. Antrobus is a veteran of foreign wars, and bears a number of scars, front and back. This is Mrs. Antrobus, the charming and gracious president of the Excelsior Mothers Club. Mrs. Antrobus is an excellent needlewoman. It is she who invented the apron on which so many interesting changes have been rung since. And here we see the Antrobuses with their 2 children, Henry and Gladys, and friend. The friend in the rear is Lily Sabina, the maid. I know we all want to congratulate this typical American family on its enterprise. We all wish Mr. Antrobus a successful future. And now the management takes you to the interior of this home for a brief visit.
Oh. 6 o'clock and the master not home yet. Oh, pray God nothing happened to him crossing the Hudson. If anything happened to him, we would certainly be inconsolable and have to move to a less desirable residence district. The fact is, I don't know what'll become of us. Here it is, the middle of August, the coldest day of the year. It's simply freezing. The dogs are sticking to the sidewalks. Can anybody explain that? No. But I'm not surprised. The whole world's at 6s and 7s, and why the house hasn't fallen down about our ears long ago is a miracle to me. Every night it's the same anxiety as to whether the master will get home safely, whether he'll bring home anything to eat. In the midst of life, we are in the midst of death. A truer word was never said. Of course, Mr. Antrobus is a very fine man. An excellent husband, father, pillar of the church, and has all the best interests of the community at heart. Of course, every muscle goes tight every time he passes a policeman, but what I think is that there are certain charges that ought not to be made, and I think I may add, ought not to be allowed to be made. We're all human, who isn't? Mrs. Antrobus is as fine a woman as you would hope to see. She lives only for her children, and if it would be any benefit to her children, she'd be glad to see the rest of us all stretched out dead at her feet without turning a hair. And that's the truth. If you want to know anything more about Mrs. Antrobus, just go and look at a tigress and look hard. As to the children, well, Henry Antrobus is a real clean-cut American boy. He'll graduate from high school one of these days if they make the alphabet any easier. Henry, when he has a stone in his hand, has a perfect aim. From a bird to an older brother. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. But it was an unfortunate accident, and it was very hard getting the police out of the house. Mrs. and Mr. Antrobus's daughter is named Gladys. She'll make some good man a good wife someday, if he'll just come down off the movie screen and ask her. So here we are. We've managed to survive for some time now. Catch as catch can, the fat and the lean. And if the dinosaurs don't eat up our garden, and if the grasshoppers don't trample us, well, we'll all live to see better days. Knock on wood. Every new child that's born to the Antrobuses seems to them to be sufficient reason for the whole universe's being set in motion, and each new child that dies seems to them to have been spared a whole world of sorrow. And what the end of it will be is still very much an open question. We've managed to survive hot and cold, and my advice to you is not to inquire into why or whither, but just enjoy your ice cream while it's on your plate. That's my philosophy. Don't forget that a few years ago, we came through the Depression by the skin of our teeth. One more tight squeeze like that, and where would we be? We came through the Depression by the skin of our teeth. One more tight squeeze like that, and where would we be? Oh.
6 o'clock and the master not home yet. Pray God nothing happened to him crossing the Hudson. Here it is, the middle of August, the coldest day of the year. It's simply freezing. The dogs are sticking to the sidewalks. One more tight squeeze like that, and where would we be?
Hey, make up something. Invent something.
Well, this certainly is a fine American home. And everybody's very happy. And I can't make up any words for this play, and I'm glad I can't. I hate this play, and every word in it. As for me, I don't understand a single word of it anyway. All about the troubles the human race has gone through. There's a subject for you. Besides, the author hasn't made up his silly mind as to whether we're all living in the caves or in New Jersey, and that's the way it is, all the way through. Why can't we have plays like we used to have? The Time of Your Life, the human comedy, Our Town, good entertainment with a message you can take home with you. I took this hateful job because I had to. For 2 years, I've sat up in my living room on a sandwich and a cup of tea a day waiting for better times in the theater. And look at me now. I, who've played Rain, and the Barretts of Wimpole Street, and First Lady, God in heaven.
Okay, she's arrived. Now we can go on. Go on.
Okay, anyways, nothing matters. It'll all be the same in 100 years. We came through the Depression by the skin of our teeth. One more tight squeeze like that, and where would we be?
Sabina, you've let the fire go out.
One thing or another, don't know whether my wits are upside down, might as well be dead as alive in a house of all 6s and 7s.
You've let the fire go out. Here it is, the coldest day of the year, right in the middle of August, and you've let the fire go out.
Mrs. Antrobus, I'd like to give my 2 weeks' notice, Mrs. Antrobus. A girl like I can get in a situation where they're rich enough to have a fire in every room, and a girl don't have to carry the responsibility of the whole house on her 2 shoulders. And a home without children, Mrs. Antrobus, because children are a thing only a parent can stand, and a truer word was never said. And a home, Mrs. Antrobus, where the master of the house don't pitch decent, self-respecting girls he meets in a dark corridor. I mention no names and make no charges, so you have my notice, Mrs. Antrobus. I hope that's perfectly clear.
You've let the fire go out. Have you milked the mammoth?
I don't understand a word of this play. Yes, I've milked the mammoth.
Until Mr. Antrobus comes home, we have no food and we have no fire. You'll have to go over to the neighbors and borrow some fire.
Mrs. Antrobus, I can't. I'd die on the way, you know I would. It's worse than January. The dogs stick into the sidewalks. I'd die.
Very well. I'll go.
You never come back alive. We'd all perish. If you weren't here, we'd just perish. How do we know Mr. Antrobus will come home? We don't know. If you go out, I'll kill myself.
Stop it, Sabina.
Every night it's the same thing. Will he come back safe or won't he? Will we starve to death or freeze to death or boil to death or be killed by burglars? I don't know how we go on living. I don't know how we go on living at all. It's easier being dead.
The same thing. Always throwing up the sponge, Sabina. Always announcing your own death. But give you a new hat or a plate of ice cream or a ticket to the movies and you want to live forever.
You don't care whether we live or die. All you care about are those children. If it would be any benefit to them, you'd be glad to see us all stretched out dead.
Well, maybe I would.
And what do they care about? Themselves. That's all they care about. They make fun of you behind your back. Don't tell me. They're ashamed of you? Half the time they pretend they're someone else's children. Little thanks you get from them.
I'm not asking for any thanks.
And Mr. Antrobus, you don't understand him. All that work he does trying to understand the alphabet and the multiplication table, whenever he tries to learn anything new, you fight against it.
Oh, Sabina, I know you. when Mr. Antrobus abducted you home from your Sabine Hills, he did it to insult me. He did it for your pretty face, and he did it to insult me. You were the new wife, weren't you? For a year or two, you lay in bed all day and polished the nails on your hands and feet. You made puffballs of the combings of your hair and blew them up to the ceiling. I washed your underclothes and I made you chicken broths. I bore children, and between my very groans I stirred the cream that you'd put on your face. But I knew you wouldn't last. And you didn't last.
But it was I who encouraged Mr. Antrobus to make the alphabet. I'm sorry to say it, Mrs. Antrobus, but you're not a beautiful woman, and you would never know what a man could do if he tried. It's girls like I who inspired the multiplication table. I'm sorry to say it, but you're not a beautiful woman, Mrs. Antrobus, and that's the God's truth.
And you didn't last. You sank to the kitchen. And what did you do there? You let the fire go out. There's that dinosaur on the front lawn again. Go away! Shoot! Shoot!
It's cold.
You go around to the back of the house where you belong.
It's cold. Now that you audience are listening to this too, I understand it a little better. Ugh, I wish 11 o'clock were here. I don't want to be dragged through this whole play again.
I'm gonna stop and give the car a little water, I guess.
All right, Elmer, you know best.
Gonna get a little water in the radiator, just to make sure.
You sure can. Air all right? Do you need any oil or gas?
No, I think not. We just got fixed up in Newark.
We're right on the road for Camden, are we?
Yeah, just keep straight ahead. You'll be in Trenton in a few minutes. Camden's a great city, lady, believe me.
My daughter likes it fine. My married daughter.
Yeah? It's a great burg, all right. Guess I think so because I was born near there.
You folks still live there?
No. My old man sold the farm and they built a factory on it, so they moved to Philadelphia.
My married daughter lives there because her husband works at the telephone company. She likes it fine. My husband and my boy are staying at the YMCA. I hear they have a comfortable dormitory on the top floor. Have you ever been there?
No. I'm a Knights of Columbus myself.
Oh.
I used to play basketball at the Y, though. It looked all right to me. Well, I guess you're all set now. Have a good trip. You can't miss it.
Thank you, and good luck to you. The world's full of nice people. That's what I call a nice young man.
Ma, you oughtn't to tell them all everything about yourself.
Well, Caroline, you do things your way, and I'll do them mine. He looks kinda pale to me. I'd like to feed him up for a few days. His parents are from Philadelphia, so I expect he eats at all of those dreadful Greek places.
I'm hungry, Pa. There's a hot dog stand. Can I have one?
We'll all have one, eh, Kate? Since we had such an early lunch.
Just as you think best, Elmer.
Arthur, here's $50. Run over and see what they have, and no, not too much mustard either.
What's that flower over there? I'll take some of those to Beulah.
It's a weed, Ma.
Well, I like it. My, look at the sky, would you? I'm glad I was born in New Jersey. I've always said it was the best state in the Union. Every state has something no other state has got.
Ma, I'm sorry for what I said earlier.
There. We all say wicked things at times. I'm sure you didn't mean it like it sounded. Now, I forgive you, Arthur. Tonight before you go to bed, You're a good boy at heart, Arthur. We all know it. Sakes alive, it's too nice a day for all of us to be crying. Caroline, go up front with your father. Mom wants to sit with her beau. I never saw such children. All right, Elmer, forward march. What is this place, Arthur? Did you see the post office?
It said Lawrenceville.
School kinda. Nice.
I wonder what that big yellow building set back was. Now it's beginning to Trenton.
Papa, it was here that George Washington first crossed the Delaware. It was in Trenton, Mama, that he was first in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen.
Well, the one thing I liked about him is that he never told a lie. Aye, that's a sunset. I never saw one like it.
There's an Ohio license plate in front of us. Ma, have you ever been to Ohio?
No.
What a lot of people there are in the world. There must be thousands upon thousands in the United States alone. Ma, how many are there?
I don't know. Ask your father.
Pa, how many are there?
There's 126 million, Kate.
And they all like to drive out in the evening with their children beside them. Why doesn't somebody sing something? Arthur, you're always singing something. What's the matter with you?
All right, what we'll sing. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia on the... No, I don't like that one anymore. Let's do... I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Don't you hear the whistle blowing?
Elmer, that signpost said Camden. I just saw it.
All right, if you say so, Kate.
Yes, there it is. Camden, 5 miles. Dear old Beulah. Now, children, you be good and quiet during dinner. She just got out of a big sort of operation, and we all might move around quite quietly. Elmer and Arthur, you drop us off at the front door and just say hello. Then you men folk go over to the YMCA and come back for dinner in about an hour.
I see the first star. Everybody make a wish. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight. Pins, Ma, you say needles.
Needles?
Shakespeare, Ma, you say Longfellow.
Longfellow.
Now it's a secret, and I can't tell it to anybody. Ma, now you make a wish.
No, I can make wishes without waiting for no star. And I can say them right out loud, too. Would you like to hear them?
No, Ma, we've heard them. We know them already. You want me to be a good girl, and you want Arthur to be honest in word and deed.
Yes, so mind yourself.
Caroline, take out that letter from Beulah in my coat pocket by you and read aloud the places I marked with red pencil.
A few blocks after you pass the 2 big oil tanks on your left.
There they are!
You come to a corner where there's an A&P store and a firehouse kitty corner to it. Turn right, go 2 blocks, and our house is Weyhauser Street, number 471.
Oh, it's an even nicer street than they used to live on. And right handy next to an A&P.
Ma, it's better than our street. It's richer than our street. Ma, is Beulah richer than we are?
Mind yourself, Missy. I don't want anybody talking about rich or not rich, not while I'm around. If you're not nice, I don't care how rich you are. I live on the best street in the world because my husband and my children live there.
You know, sometimes I think it really wouldn't be so bad to be blind. You wouldn't have to worry about what everything looked like. You could make things look like you wanted them to. You could wear clothes that didn't match and nobody would tell you you had bad taste. They just think you dressed that way because you couldn't see. If we couldn't see, we start seeing the things inside people more. Dustin, are you awake yet? Dustin!
Yeah.
I want to talk to you.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Go to sleep.
What's wrong?
Just go to sleep.
Dustin, I'm leaving tomorrow. I want to talk to you.
I'll talk to you in the morning. Now lie down.
Dustin, this is the last time. The last time. Can't you just... Forget it. This is the last time you'll see me. I'm the one thing you have, and I'm leaving.
Good. Now go to sleep. I used to think the morning light was yellow. That's the color the moon is and the streetlights and everything. But then one day I woke up. It was blue. You know what I wanted to do, Teddy? I wanted to tell you everything was blue, not yellow like I thought. But it's different tonight. Everything should be blue in here, but it's not. Maybe I should paint the sky yellow and red, like you said. Yeah, a splash of red can mix in just fine. Teddy, I need you. I'm scared.
It's raining, Dustin. I can hear it.
Yes, it's raining.
But you can't see it. No one can.
It's too dark to see at night. You can hear it, and if you went outside, you could feel it.
I can feel it.
Then let's paint it. When you paint rain, you have to move your hands very gently. Yeah, like that. That's good. You know how it feels, not just how it looks. I was kidding when I said I wouldn't follow you out in the rain. We could climb trees and jump in puddles. We could jump out the window too. It's only glass. You know how easy it is to break through glass.
We're getting married, Dad. Well, don't you say anything?
I'm glad, Chris. It's just... George is calling from Columbus.
Columbus?
Did Annie say he was going to see his father today?
No, I don't think she knew anything about it.
Chris, you think you know her pretty good?
What kind of a question?
I'm just wondering. All these years George don't go see his father, then suddenly he goes and she comes here.
Well, what about it?
It's crazy, but it comes to my mind. She don't hold nothing against me, does she?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just talking. To his last day in court, the man blamed it all on me, and this is his daughter we're talking about. I mean, if she was sent here to find out something.
Why? What is there to find out?
If they want to open up the case again for the nuisance value to hurt us.
Dad, how could you think that of her?
It couldn't be that he... You know...
Dad, you amaze me.
All right. Forget it. Forget it. I want a clean start for you, Chris. I want a new sign over the plant. Christopher Keller Incorporated.
J.O. Keller is good enough.
I'm going to build you a house. A stone with a driveway from the road. I want you to spread out, Chris. I want you to use what I made for you. With joy, Chris. Without shame. With joy.
I will, Dad.
Oh, and say it to me.
Why?
Because sometimes I think you're ashamed of the money.
No, don't feel that.
Because it's good money. There's nothing wrong with that money.
Dad, you don't have to tell me this.
Look, Chris, I'll go to work on Mother tonight. We'll get us so drunk we'll all get married. There's gonna be a wedding, kid, like there never was seen. Champagne, tuxedos.
How did it happen? Did you reach him at exactly the same time?
Not quite exactly. He was there first.
Was he waiting?
I'm not sure. The door's a big glass door that I'd never noticed before. And I'd never noticed before that with all the room in the world, a space could still be made. If he wasn't waiting, he was there, with the space for me.
Did he smile?
No, he almost cried. And then I almost cried too. He didn't need to stand there that way. Neither did I. But that's what we did. I could have turned and walked away quickly. I had been walking quickly. But now I couldn't move. I wanted to, I guess, but I just couldn't. He was too alone, and then I was too, and we just had to stay together.
Where did you go?
First, we went out on the steps of the library, but we just stood there too. We got in the way of some people that were in a hurry. About 11 of them. They didn't like us, both of us. They turned around and looked at us. There were other people coming and going too, and we were still in their way. When we got out of their way, we were facing the same direction. We weren't facing each other. We were together.
Did you speak to him?
Not at first. I couldn't think of anything to say. I didn't think I'd be able to speak English. And I suppose I didn't after we did talk. What we said was so foolish.
Did you run with him suddenly, perhaps?
Run? We could barely walk. He kept bumping into me, and I kept bumping into him. He kept saying, "Excuse me," and I kept saying, "Oh, that's all right." He stumbled too and said something about his shoes.
What did he say?
He said they didn't fit.
He's a good boy, Saint.
I know he is. But now I don't understand anything. I began to see. I didn't used to see. The streetcars going by had people in them suddenly. There have always been people in streetcars, but now they were beautiful people. I never saw people that way before. They were still sad and funny and worried looking, but now they were beautiful too. We walked through the park and looked at everything together. It's not the same as looking at things alone. We looked at the pigeons, as if they'd just come down from the sky, as if they'd never been birds before, as if they came to be with us.
Pigeons are good to behold, Saint.
I thought love would be another thing. I've waited every day to meet one person in the world who wouldn't offend me. And now that I've found him, instead of being heedless and strong and full of humor, he's sad. He could be barefooted for all I care, if he wouldn't be sad, because now I'm sad too. I can't believe to live, to really live, is foolish or impossible. Is it impossible, Father?
No, Saint. Not for you, not for me, and not for your brothers.
We're not apart from the others, Father. I thought we were, but we're not.
We are they, and they are us.
I know that now. I don't want the foolish life. I'll learn to live all over again. But if I can't have the life I know is mine to live, if everything is going to be meaningless and foolish...
Saint, it isn't meaningless or foolish.
But I can't forget him. Why am I so afraid I'll never see him again? Will I see him again, Father?
He's not lost, Saint.
He looked lost. I don't even know who he is.
Whoever he is, he'll be here in this room before the world comes to an end. Will you be glad to see him?
I don't know.
You must decide, Saint.
I am a water seller in the capital of Sichuan province. My job is tedious. When water is short, I have to go far for it, and when water is plentiful, I earn nothing. But utter poverty is the rule in our province. I'll agree that only the gods can help us. To my inexpressible joy, a widely traveled cattle dealer has told me that some of the highest gods are already on their way and that Sichuan may see them too. They say the heavens have been deeply disturbed by the many complaints that have been going up. For 3 days, I've waited at the entrance of the city, especially towards the evening, so that I may be the first to greet them. There will hardly be any time for me later, as they will have far too many important people to meet and way too many demands on them. But shall I be able to recognize them? They may not arrive in a group. Perhaps they will come singly so as not to attract too much attention. Cannot be those men. Their shoulders are bent by the burdens they have to carry. I would not take that man for a god even. He has inky fingers. Perhaps at best he might be some sort of clerk in cement works. I would not take those men for gods even. They have the faces of brutal men who beat people, and the gods find that unnecessary. But look at those three. They seem very different. They are well nourished, show no signs of any kind of employment, and have dust on their shoes, so they must have traveled far. It is them, yours to command, illustrious ones.
Have you been expecting us?
Oh, for a long while, but only I knew that you were coming.
We must find a lodging for the night. Do you know of one?
One? Lots. The city is at your service, O illustrious ones. Where do you wish to stay?
Try the first house first. Take the very first one first.
I only fear that I may attract the enmity of the powerful if I give only one of them the preference.
Then take it as an order. Try the first house first.
That's Mr. Foe opposite. One moment. How stupid. Mr. Foe happens to be out just now, and his servants dare not take the responsibility as he's very strict. Won't he be angry when he finds out who has been turned away?
Indeed.
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 The house next door is the Widow Sue's. She will be beside herself with joy. Another moment, then. I shall have to ask across the street. She says she only has one room, and it is very small, so it is in no fit state. I will go straight to Mr. Chang's.
But a small room is all we need. Tell her that we're coming.
Even if it has not been cleaned? Suppose it is crawling with spiders.
And we out the more spiders, the fewer flies.
Try Mr. Chang's, or anybody else you like. I'll admit, I find spiders a little unattractive.
Get away with your gods. We've got enough troubles of our own.
Mr. Chang is extremely sorry. He says he has a house full of relatives, and he dare not appear before you illustrious ones like this. Between us, I believe there are evil men among them who he would wish you not to see. He is much too afraid of your judgment. That must be it.
Are we all that frightening?
Only to evil people, isn't it? We all know Quan Province has suffered from flooding for years.
Oh, and why is that?
Because they're not God-fearing people, I suppose?
Rubbish. That's because they didn't look after the dam properly.
Any more prospects?
How can you ask? I can go to the next house and I can have my pick. They're all falling over each other in excitement to entertain you. It's just an unlucky combination of circumstances, you understand. Half a moment.
What did I tell you?
It may just be the circumstances.
Circumstances in Shun, circumstances in Quan, and now circumstances in Szechuan. There are no God-fearing people left. That is a naked truth to which you will not recognize. Our mission is hopeless, and you'd better admit it.
We may very well come across good people at any moment. We cannot expect to have things all our own way.
The resolution says the world can go on as it is if we find enough good people to lead a decent human existence. The water settler himself is such a person, if I'm not deceived.
You were always deceived. When the water man let us drink out of his measure, I saw something. Look.
It has got a false bottom.
A swindler.
Very well, we strike him out. But what does it matter if one man is corrupted? We will soon find plenty who fulfill the conditions. We must find someone. For 2,000 years we have heard the same complaint, that the world cannot go on as it is. No one can stay on earth and remain good. We must at last find some people who are in a position to fulfill our commandments.
Is it too difficult for you to find us a place?
How can you ask? What are you thinking of? It is my fault that we have not found a place for you to lodge. I'm a bad guide.
Not that, certainly.
Forgive me for addressing you, but some of the highest gods whose impending advent has been the talk of Szechuan for years are now actually here and need a place to spend the night. Don't walk away. Look for yourself. One glance will convince you. For heaven's sake, do something about it. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. If you get your invitation in now, they're sure to accept. You, sir, you heard what it's about. Have you any room? It needn't be palatial. The intention is what matters.
How am I to know what sort of gods yours are? That heaven knows who I might be letting into my house.
I have found somebody who is sure to take you.
That does not sound encouraging.
What about the accommodation?
How do you know I'm not living in rooms myself?
He will find nothing. We had better ride off Szechuan too.
It's 3 of the chief gods, truly. Their images look exactly like them in the temple. Look for yourself. If you invite them right now, they might perhaps accept.
I suppose there are a lot of prize swindlers you're trying to foist off on someone.
You swivel-eyed chiseler, have you no reverence? The gods crap on the lot of you, and you'll be sorry for it. You shall pay unto the 4th generation. You are a disgrace to the whole province. That leaves us with Shente, the prostitute. She can't refuse. Shente! 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 They've arrived, and I can't find a place for them to stay the night. Could you possibly have them for 1 night?
Not much hope, Wang. I'm expecting someone, but how is it that you can't find them a room?
I can't explain now. Szechuan is nothing but one big muck heap.
Yeah, I shall have to hide when he arrives, then he might go away. He was supposed to be taking me out.
Can we come upstairs in the meantime?
If you're not too loud. Do I have to be careful what I say?
Very. They mustn't find out how you earn your living. In fact, we better wait downstairs. But will you be going out with him?
Yeah, I haven't had much luck lately, and if I can't find the rent by tomorrow, they'll throw me out, so...
You shouldn't think of money at a moment like this.
Huh, I don't know. I'm afraid a rumbling stomach is no respecter of persons. But very well, I'll take them in. Are you the illustrious ones? My name's Shente, and I should be happy if you make do with my small room.
But where has the water cellar disappeared to?
I must have missed him.
He must have thought you were not coming and then got too scared to come back to us. Dear Shente, we are grateful for your hospitality. We will not forget that it was you who took us in. Will you give the water seller his pole back? And tell him that we are grateful to him too for having shown us a good person.
But I am not good. I have a confession to make. When Wang asked me if I could have you guys, I had hesitations.
Hesitations do not count if you overcome them. Know that you gave us more than a lodging. There are many, including some of us gods, who have begun to doubt whether or not a good person still exists. To check up was the main object of our journey, and we are happy in continuing it, for we have succeeded in finding one. Farewell.
But illustrious ones, I am by no means sure that I am good. I would sure like to be, who wouldn't, but how am I to pay the rent? Let me admit I sell my body in order to live. And even so, I cannot manage, for there are so many forced to do this. I would take on anything, but who wouldn't? Of course, I would like to obey the commandments, to honor my parents, and to respect the truth. Not to covet my neighbor's garden would be a pleasure, and to love, honor, and cherish a husband would be very nice. Nor do I wish to exploit other men or rob the defenseless, but how can it be done? Even by breaking 1 or 2 of the commandments, I still can barely manage.
All these, Shente, are but the doubts of a good person.
Goodbye, Shente, and give our warmest greetings to the water seller. He was a good friend to us.
I fear we did but little good to him.
The best of luck.
Above all, be good, Shente. Goodbye.
But illustrious ones, I am not sure of myself. How am I to be good when everything is so expensive?
Alas, that is beyond our powers. We cannot meddle in the sphere of economics.
Wait, just a minute. If she was better provided, she might stand more of a chance.
We can't give her anything. We cannot answer for it up there.
We understand that you cannot pay the rent. We are not poor people, so it is only natural that we should pay for our lodging. Here you are. But please, let no one know that we paid. It might be misinterpreted.
Only too easily.
Hey Joe, it sure was nice of you to hire an automobile and take us for a drive along the ocean front and down to Half Moon Bay.
Those 3 hours were the most delightful, the most somber, and the most beautiful I have ever known.
Why, Joe?
Why? I'm a student, Tom. I'm a student. I study all things. All. And when my study reveals something of beauty in a place or in a person where by all rights only ugliness or death should be revealed, then I know how full of goodness this life is. And that's a good thing to know. That's a truth I shall always seek to verify.
Joe?
Yeah?
You promise you won't get sore or anything?
What is it, Tom?
Joe, where do you get all that money? I mean, you paid for the automobile and the 2 bottles of champagne and supper at the Half Moon Bay. You moved Kitty out of the New York hotel and onto the St. Francis around the corner. I saw you pay her rent. I saw you give her money for new clothes. It's been 3 years now and I've never asked.
Now don't be a fool, Tom. Listen carefully. If anybody's got any money to hoard or to throw away, you can be sure he stole it from other people. Not from rich people who can spare it, but from poor people who can't. From their lives and from their dreams. I'm no exception. I earned the money I throw away. I stole it like everybody else does. Loafing around this way, I still earn money. The money itself earns more. I still hurt people. I don't know who they are or where they are. If I did, I'd feel worse than I do. I've got a Christian conscience in a world that's got no conscience at all. The world's trying to develop some sort of a social conscience, but it's having a devil of a time trying to do that. I've got money. I'll always have money as long as this world stays the way it is. I don't work. I don't make anything. I drink. I worked when I was a kid. I worked hard. I mean hard, Tom. People are supposed to enjoy living. I got tired. I decided I'd get even with the world. Well, it turns out you can't enjoy living unless you work. Unless you do something. I don't do anything. I don't want to do anything anymore. There's nothing I can do that won't make me feel embarrassed. Because I can't do simple, good things. I haven't the patience. And I'm much too smart. Money is the guiltiest thing in the world. It stinks. Now don't ever ask me about it again.
I didn't mean to make you feel bad, Joe.
Take the gun out to the street and give it to some worthy hold-up man.
How should I know who's a hold-up man?
Take it out, give it to somebody.
Do I have to give it to somebody?
Of course.
Can't I take it back and get some for our money?
Now don't talk like a businessman, Tom. Look around and find somebody who appears to be in need of a gun and give it to him. It's a good gun, isn't it?
I mean, the man said it was. But how should I know who needs a gun?
Tom, you've seen good people who needed guns, haven't you?
I can't remember. I mean, listen, what if I give it to the wrong kind of guy? I mean, he might do something crazy.
All right, I'll find somebody myself. Here. Take some money, go get this week's Life, Liberty, Time, and 6 or 7 packages of chewing gum.
Life, Liberty, Time, and 6 or 7 packs of chewing gum.
That's right.
All that chewing gum? What kind?
Any kind. Mix them up, all kinds.
Licorice too?
Licorice, by all means.
Juicy fruit?
Juicy fruit.
Tutti Frutti?
Is there such a gum?
I think so.
All right, Tutti Frutti. Get all the kinds. Get as many kinds as they're selling.
All right. Life, Liberty, Time, and all the different kinds of gum they're selling.
Get some jelly beans, too. All different colors.
All right.
And the longest Panatella cigar you can find. 6 of them.
Panatella. I got it.
Give some news kid $1.
Okay, Joe.
Give some old man $1.
Okay, Joe.
And give those Salvation Army people down the street a couple of dollars and ask them to sing that song that goes, Let the lower lights be burning, send a gleam across the wave.
Let the lower lights be burning, send a gleam across the wave.
That's right. Some poor dying, struggling seaman, you may rescue, you may save.
All right, Joe, I think I got it. Life, liberty, time, all the different kinds of gum they're selling. Jelly beans, 6 Pentel cigars, $1 for a news kid, $1 for an old man, $2 for Salvation Army, let the lower lights be burning, send a gleam across the wave.
That's it.
The jury has been selected quickly for the Dan White trial. It appears the prosecution and defense want the same jury. The prosecuting attorney, Assistant DA Tom Norman, exercised only 3 out of 27 possible challenges. By all accounts, there are no blacks, no gays, no Asians. One juror is an ex-policeman, another the wife of the county jailer. 4 of the 7 women are old enough to be Dan White's mother. Most of the jurors are working and middle-class Catholics. Speculation in the press box is that the prosecution feels that it has a law and order jury. In any case, Dan White will certainly be judged by a jury of his peers.
Mr. Norman, do you desire to make an opening statement at this time?
I do, Judge.
All right, you may proceed.
Your Honor, members of the jury, and you must be the judges now. Counsel for the defense, ladies and gentlemen, I am Thomas F. Norman, and I am the Assistant District Attorney for the City of San Francisco. George Moscone was the duly elected Mayor of San Francisco, and Harvey Milk was the duly elected Supervisor or City Councilman for District 5 of San Francisco. The defendant in this case, Mr. Daniel James White, had been the duly elected Supervisor of District 8 of San Francisco until, for personal reasons of his own, tendered his resignation in writing to the mayor on or about November the 10th, 1978, which was approximately 17 days before this tragedy had occurred. Subsequent to tendering his resignation, he had the feeling that he wanted to withdraw that resignation, that he wanted his job back. The mayor said that he would give him his job back, or, in other words, appoint him back to the board if there was substantial support from District Number 8 for that appointment. Material was received by the mayor in that regard, and in the meantime, Mr. Daniel James White had resorted to the courts in an effort to withdraw his written resignation. It appears that those efforts were not met with much success.
Mr. Schmidt, you may proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the prosecutor has quite skillfully outlined certain of the facts that she believes to be supportive of her theory of first-degree murder. I intend to present all the facts, including some of the background material, that will not so much show what happened on November 27th, but why those tragedies occurred on November 27th. The evidence will show, and it's not disputed, that Dan White did indeed shoot and kill George Moscone. And I think the evidence is equally clear that Dan White did shoot and kill Harvey Milk. Why then should there be a trial? The issue in this trial is to properly understand why that happened. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I sure hope I say all the things right. I can't marshal the words the way Mr. Norman can, but I believe strongly in things. Lord God, I don't say to forgive Dan White. I don't say to just let him walk out of here, a free man. He is guilty. But the degree of responsibility is the issue here. The state of mind is the issue here. It's not who was killed, it's why. It's not who killed them, but why. The state of mind is the issue here. Lord God, the pressures. Nobody can say the things that happened to him. Days or weeks preceding wouldn't make a reasonable and ordinary man at least mad, angry in some way. Surely it had to have arisen. Not to kill just to be mad, to act irrationally, because if you kill when you're angry or under the heat of passion, if you kill, then the law will punish you. And you will be punished by God. And God will punish you. But the law will also punish you. Heat of passion blurs judgment, makes one act irrationally, at the very least. And my God, That is what happened at the very least. Forget about the mental illness. Forget about all the rest of the factors that came into play at the same time. Surely he acted irrationally, impulsively, out of some passion. Something happened to him and he snapped. That's the word I used in my opening statement. Something snapped here. The pot had boiled over here, and people that boil over in that fashion, they tell the truth. Have the tape played again, if you can't remember what was said. He said, in no uncertain terms, "My God, why did I do these things? What made me do this? How on earth could I have done this? I didn't intend to hurt anybody. My God, what happened to me? Why?" Play the tape. If everybody agrees the tape is truthful, play the tape. I'd agree it's truthful. If the district attorney concedes that what is on the tape is truthful, and I believe that's the insinuation we have here, then by God, there's voluntary manslaughter. Nothing more and nothing less. I say this to you in all honesty, and if you've any doubts, then our law tells you have to judge in favor of Dan White. Now, I don't know what more I can say. He's got to be punished, and he will be punished. He is going to have to live with this for the rest of his life. His child will live with it, and his family will live with it, and God will punish him, and the law will punish him, and they will punish him severely. And this is the type of case where I don't think Mr. Norman will do it, but you can make up a picture of a dead man, or two of them for that matter. And you can have them say around, somebody is going to pay for this. And somebody is going to pay for this. But it's not an emotional type of thing. I get emotional about it. But you can't. Because you have to be objective about the facts. But please, just justice. That's all. Just justice here. I get one argument, and I've made it, and I just hope that you will come to the same conclusion that I've come to. And thank you for listening to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I listened very carefully to the summation just given you, and it appears to me, ladies and gentlemen, that to be a very facile explanation and rationalization as to premeditation and deliberation. This evidence that has been laid before you screams for murder in the first degree. What counsel for the defense has done is try to excuse this kind of conduct, to call it something that it isn't, to call it voluntary manslaughter. Members of the jury, you are the triers of fact here. To reduce the charge of murder to something less, to reduce it to voluntary manslaughter, means that you're saying it was not murder. You're saying that this was an intentional killing of a human being upon a quarrel or a heat of passion. Ladies and gentlemen, the facts are it was he, Dan White, who brought the gun into City Hall. The gun was not found there. It was Dan White who brought the extra cartridges for the guns. They were not found there. He went to City Hall, and when he got there, he went to the Polk Street door. There was a metal detector there. He knew he was carrying a gun. He knew that he had extra cartridges for it. Instead of going through the metal detector, he decided to go around the corner. He was capable at that time of expressing anger. He was capable at that time of, according to doctors, well, parenthetically, members of the jury, I do not know how they can look into your head and tell you what you are capable of, but they even said that he was capable at that time to know that if you pointed a gun at somebody and you fired that gun, that you would surely know that you would kill a person. He went around the corner and climbed through a window into City Hall. He stepped into the mayor's office after some conversation, and he shot the mayor twice in the body. And then he shot the mayor twice in the head while he was disabled on the floor. Evidence suggests that in order to shoot the mayor twice in the head, he had to lean down to do it. Deliberation is premeditation. It has malice. I feel stultified to even bring this up. This is the definition of murder. He went across the hall and put 3 bullets into Harvey Milk's body, one of which hit Harvey directly in the back. When he fell to the floor disabled, 2 more were delivered to the back of his head. Now, what do you call that besides premeditation and deliberation? Ladies and gentlemen, there are circumstances here which no doubt bring about anger, maybe even rage, I don't know. But the circumstances in which that anger was felt and handled is socially something that cannot be approved. Ladies and gentlemen, the quality of your service is reflected in your verdict.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, now that you have heard the evidence, we have now come to that part of the trial where you are instructed on the applicable law. In the crime of murder of the first degree, the necessary concurrent mental states are malice aforethought, premeditation, and deliberation. In the crime of murder of the second degree, the necessary concurrent mental state is malice aforethought. In the crime of voluntary manslaughter, the necessary mental state is an intent to kill. Involuntary manslaughter is an unlawful killing without malice aforethought and without an intent to kill. The law does not undertake to limit or define the kinds of passion which may cause a person to act rashly. Such passions as desperation, humiliation, resentment, anger, fear, or rage, or any other kind of high-wrought emotion can be sufficient to reduce the killings to manslaughter, so long as they are sufficient to obscure the reason and render the average man likely to act rashly. There is no malice aforethought if the killing occurred upon a sudden quarrel or heat of passion. There is no malice aforethought if the evidence shows that due to diminished capacity caused by illness, mental defect, or intoxication, the defendant did not have the capacity to form the mental state constituting malice aforethought, even though the killing was intentional, voluntary, premeditated, and unprovoked. Madam Foreperson, has the jury reached verdicts?
Yes, it has, Your Honor.
Please read the verdicts.
The jury finds the defendant, Daniel James White, guilty of violating Section 192.1 of the Penal Code, voluntary manslaughter, for the slaying of Mayor George Moscone.
Is this a unanimous verdict of the jury?
Yes, it is, Judge.
Will the foreperson please read the verdict for the second count?
The jury finds the defendant, Daniel James White, guilty of violating Section 192.1 of the Penal Code, voluntary manslaughter, for the slaying of Supervisor Harvey Milk.
Dan White was examined by the psychiatrist at the state prison. They decided against therapy. Dan White has no apparent signs of mental disorder. Dan White's parole date was January 6, 1984. When Dan White left Soledad Prison on January 6, 1984, it was 5 years, 1 month, and 8 days since he turned himself in at Northern Station after the assassination of Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Milk. Mayor Dianne Feinstein, the current mayor of San Francisco, has tried to keep Dan White out of San Francisco during his parole for fear he will be killed.
In order to understand the riots, I think you have to understand the Dan White verdict did not occur in a vacuum. That there were and are other factors that contributed to legitimate rage that was demonstrated dramatically at our symbol of who's responsible City Hall.
Dan White reportedly plans to move to Ireland after his release.
The verdict came down and the people rioted. Then the police came to our neighborhood and the police rioted.
Dan White was found dead of carbon monoxide poisoning on October 21, 1985, at his wife's home in San Francisco, California.
Then you did it.
He never flew a P-40.
But the others.
She's out of her mind.
Dad, you did it?
He never flew a P-40. What's the matter with you?
Then you did it. To the others.
What's the matter with you? What the hell is the matter with you?
How could you do that? How?
What is the matter with you?
Dad, you killed 21 men.
What? Killed?
You killed them. You murdered them!
How could I kill anybody?
Dad! Dad!
I didn't kill anybody!
Then explain it to me. What did you do? Explain it to me or I'll tear you to pieces.
Don't, Chris, don't.
I want to know what you did. Now what did you do? You had 120 cracked engine heads. Now what did you do?
If you're gonna hang me, then...
I'm listening. God almighty, I'm listening.
You're a boy. What could I do? I'm in business. A man is in business. 120 cracked, you're out of business. You gotta process the process don't work, you're out of business. You don't know how to operate, your stuff is no good. They close you up, they tear up your contracts. What the hell's it to them? You like 40 years into a business and they knock you out in 5 minutes. What could I do? Let them take 40 years? Let them take my life away? I never thought they'd install them. I swear to God, I thought they'd stop them before anybody took off.
Then why did you ship them out?
By the time they could spot them, I thought I'd have the process going again and I could show them they needed me and they'd let it go by. But weeks went by and I got no kickback, so I was gonna tell them.
Then why didn't you tell them?
It was too late. The paper, it was all over the front page. 21 went down. It was too late. They came with handcuffs into the shop. What could I do? Chris, I did it for you. It was a chance and I took it for you. I'm 61 years old. When would I get another chance to make something for you? 61 years old, you don't get another chance, do you?
You even knew they wouldn't hold up in the air.
I didn't say that.
But you were gonna warn them not to use them.
Yeah, but that don't mean...
It means you knew they'd crash.
It don't mean that.
Then you thought they'd crash.
I was afraid maybe.
You were afraid maybe. God in heaven, what kind of a man are you? You had kids hanging in the air by those heads. You knew that.
For you. A business for you.
For me. Where do you live? Where have you come from? For me. I was dying every day. You were killing my boys, and you did it for me. What the hell do you think I was thinking of? The goddamn business? Is that as far as your mind can see? The business. What is that? The world, the business. What the hell do you mean you did it for me? Don't you have a country? Don't you live in the world? What the hell are you? You're not even an animal. No animal kills his own. What must I do to you? What must I do to you? I ought to tear the tongue out of your mouth. What must I do? Jesus God, what must I do?
What's the matter? I want to talk to you.
I've got nothing to say to you.
I want to talk to you.
Don't do that, Dad. If you do that again, I'm gonna hurt you. There's nothing to say. So say it quick.
Exactly what's the matter? What's the matter? You got too much money? Is that what bothers you?
It bothers me.
Well, if you can't get used to it, then throw it away. You hear me? Take every cent and give it to charity. Throw it in the sewer. Does that settle it? In the sewer, that's all. You think I'm kidding? I'm telling you what to do. If it's dirty, then burn it. It's your money, that's not my money. I'm a dead man. I'm an old dead man. Nothing's mine. Well, talk to me. What do you want to do?
It's not about what I want to do. It's about what you want to do.
What should I want to do? Jail? You want me to go to jail? If you want me to go, say so. Is that where I belong? Then tell me so. What's the matter? Why can't you say it? You say everything else to me. Say that. I'll tell you why you can't say it. Because you know I don't belong there. Because you know. Who worked for nothing in that war? When they work for nothing, I'll work for nothing. Did they ship a gun or a truck out of Detroit before getting their price? Is that clean? Dollars and cents. Nickels and dimes. War and peace, it's nickels and dimes. What's clean? Half the goddamn country's gotta go if I go. That's why you can't tell me.
That's exactly why.
Then why am I bad?
I know you're no worse than most men, but I thought you were better. I never saw you as a man. I saw you as my father. I can't even look at you in the face. I can't look at myself.
Chris, a man can't be a Jesus in this world.
I know all about the world. I know the whole crap story. Now listen to this. Tell me what a man's gotta be. My dear Anne. You listening? Your son wrote this the day he died. Don't cry. Listen. My dear Anne. It is impossible to put down the things I feel. But I've got to tell you something. Yesterday they flew in a load of papers from the States and I read about Dad and your father being convicted. I can't express myself. I can't tell you how I feel. I can't bear to live anymore. Last night I circled the base for 20 minutes before I could bring myself in. How could he have done that? Every day, 3 or 4 men never come back, and he sits back there doing business. I don't know how to tell you what I feel. I can't face anybody. I'm going out on a mission in a few minutes. They'll probably report me missing. If they do, I want you to know that you mustn't wait for me. I tell you, Anne, if I had him here now, I could kill him. Now blame the world. Do you understand that letter?
I think I do. Sure, he was my son. But I think to him they were all my sons. And I guess they were. I guess they were.
Your original order, to be good while yet surviving, split me like lightning into 2 people. I cannot tell what occurred. Goodness to others and myself could not both be achieved. To serve both self and others, I found too hard. Oh, your world is arduous. Such pain, such desperation. The hand which is held out to the hungry is quickly wrenched off. He who gives help to the lost is lost for his own part, for who could hold himself back from anger when the hungry are dying? Where was I to find so much that was needed, if not in myself? But that was my downfall. The load of the commandments forced me into the sludge, and yet if I broke the rules, I strode proudly around and could eat myself full. Something is wrong with this world of yours. Why is wickedness so rewarded, and why is so much suffering reserved for the good? Oh, I felt such temptation to treat myself kindly. I had too a secret awareness inside me, for my foster mother washed me with slops from the gutter. So I acquired a sharp eye. And yet pity brought me so much pain that I at once felt wolfish anger at the sight of misery. Then I could feel how I gradually began to alter, and my lips grew tight and hard. Bitter as ashes, the kind word felt in my mouth. And yet I should have gladly been an angel to the slums. Forgiving was still my delight. A smiling face and I walked in the clouds. Condemn me. Each of my crimes was committed to help my neighbor, to love my beloved, or to save my young son from going without. O gods, for your vast projects, I, poor human, was too small.
Speak no further, you unhappy creature. Who are we to think? Who so rejoiced to have found you again?
Do you not understand that I am the wicked person whose crimes you just heard described?
The good person of whom everybody speaks nothing but good.
The wicked person as well.
A misunderstanding. A few unfortunate incidents. One or two hard-hearted neighbors. A little too much zeal.
But how is she to go on living?
She is strong and she can manage. She is strong, healthy, and well-built and can endure much.
But didn't you hear what she said?
Muddled. Completely muddled. Hard to accept, extremely hard to accept. Are we to admit that our commandments are fatal? Are we to sacrifice them? Never. Is the world to be altered? How? By whom? No. Everything is as it should be. We are to return to heaven. This little world still fascinates us. All its joys and hurts encourage us or cause us pain. And still, we will gladly think of you, Shente, the good person who we sought, who manifests our good spirit down here. And through the bitter darkness, bears the tiny lamp. Farewell.
Oh no, illustrious ones, do not go away. Don't leave me here. How am I to face the two good people who lost their shop, or the water seller with his stiff hand? And how am I to protect myself from the barber whom I don't love? And against son who I do? My body has been blessed. Soon, my young son will be here and will be wanting to eat. I cannot remain here.
You can manage. Only be good and all will be well.
I can't go on. It goes so fast. We don't have time to look at one another. I didn't realize. So all that was going on in life and we never noticed. Take me back. Up the hill to my grave. But first, wait. One more look. Goodbye. Goodbye, Grover's Corners. Mama and Papa. Goodbye to clocks ticking. And Mama's sunflowers. And food and coffee. And new iron dresses. And hot baths. And sleeping and waking up. Oh, Earth, you're too wonderful for anybody to realize you. Do any human beings ever realize life while they live it? Every minute?
No. The saints and poets, maybe. They do some.
I'm ready to go back.
Were you happy?
No. I should have listened to you. That's all human beings are. Just blind people.
Look, it's clearing up. The stars are coming out.
Oh, Mr. Simpson. I should have listened to them.
Yes, now you know. Now you know. That's what it was to be alive. To move about in a cloud of ignorance. To go up and down and trample on the feelings of those about you. To spend and waste time as though you had 1,000,000 years. To be at the mercy of one self-centered passion or another. Now you know. That's the happy existence you want to go back to. Ignorance and blindness.
Simon Stimson, that ain't the whole truth and you know it. Emily, look at that star. I forget its name.
My boy Joel was a sailor. Knew 'em all. He'd sit on the porch evenings and tell 'em all by name. Yes, sir, wonderful.
A star is mighty good company.
Yes, yes, 'tis.
Here's one of them coming.
That's funny. Tain't no time for one of them to be here. Goodness sakes.
Mother Gibbs. It's George.
Dear, just rest yourself.
It's George.
And my boy Joel, who knew the stars, he used to say it took millions of years for that speck of light to get to the earth. Don't seem like a body could believe it, but that's what he used to say. Millions of years.
My goodness, that ain't no way to behave.
He ought to be home.
Mother Gibbs.
Yes, Emily?
They don't understand, do they?
No, dear. They don't understand.
Most everybody's asleep in Grover's Corners. Some lights are still on. Shorty Hawkins down at the depot just watched the Albany train go by, and at the livery stable, someone's setting up late and talking. Yes. It's clearing up. They're the stars during their same old crisscross journey across the sky. Scholars haven't settled the matter yet, but they seem to think there are no living beings up there. Just chalk. Or fire. Only this one is straining away. Straining away in an attempt to make something out of itself. The strain's so bad that every 16 hours everybody lies down and gets a rest. "11 p.m. in Grover's Corners. You get some rest too. Take care."